we have a whisper falls into life's inner ear. Now, this is most important because Sri Aurobindo speaks about this, and he says in the Letters on Yoga, as there is an inner sight other than the physical, so there is an inner hearing other than that of the external ear. And it can listen to voices and sounds and words of other worlds, other times and places, or those which come from supraphysical beings. This is extraordinary. Just let's go through that once more again. This inner hearing can listen to voices and sounds and words of other worlds, other times and places, or those which come from supraphysical beings. Now, he says the ear is the passage of communion between the inner mind center and the thought forces or thought waves of the universal nature. And lastly, from Letters on Yoga, he has a lot on Letters on Yoga here, but he says there is a rhythm in everything, unheard by the physical ear, and by that rhythm, things exist. The next line now, and echoes from the dun subconscious caves. So we have a number of things here. Dun is a very interesting word. It means dark and gloomy. Dun. And of course, subconscious we have been through many times, which it receives the impressions of things and it stores them up in itself. But it's a general term that's used for all parts of the being which are not on the waking surface. Very, very, very powerful. And now what's the next line? Because this is important. Speech leaps, thought quivers, the heart vibrates, the will answers, and tissue and nerve obey the call. Well, if only that were true of us at all times. Our lives translate these subtle intimacies. All is the commerce, or we can say communion. All is the commerce of a secret power. It can also be the exchange of a secret power. So these lines, Sri Aurobindo is telling us so much in these lines. We have these whispers that fall into life's inner ear. And echoes come also from these dun subconscious caves. And more than that, speech leaps, thought quivers, the heart vibrates. Look at the words, leaps, quivers, vibrates, the will answers, and tissue and nerve obey the call. Our lives translate these subtle intimacies, semicolon, all is the commerce of a secret power. A thinking puppet is the mind of life. Its choice is the work of elemental strengths that know not their own birth and end and cause, and glimpse not the immense intent they serve. So this mind of life he's speaking about, of course, is this lower mind, physical mind, we can say. And It's simply a thinking puppet. In other words, all that happens to us at this level of consciousness is coming from a universal mind, entering our mind, and we think it's ours. Oh, I had a great thought the other day. It's not your thought. It's the thought coming from the universal mind into your mind, into your hearing. And so even the scientist, even the genius are receiving these thoughts from universal mind and not from themselves until one goes into the higher realms of higher knowledge, illumined and intuitive knowledge, and finally the overmind. So a thinking puppet is the mind of life. Its choice is the work of elemental strengths. Now, these elemental strengths are primitive or basic strengths, and they are moved by powerful natural forces or passions. And therefore, he says that know not their own birth and end and cause. And they don't even glimpse the immense intent they serve, and glimpse not the immense intent they serve. In this nether life of man, drab-hued and dull, yet filled with poignant, small, ignoble things, the conscious doll is pushed 100 ways and feels the push, but not the hands that drive. Well, so this is very, very important for us. We are basically, in our lower consciousness, thinking puppets. And thinking puppets due to this mind of life. And the mind of life's choice is this work of elemental strengths. And those elemental strengths don't know their own birth and end, and they don't know their cause. And they don't glimpse even the immense intent they serve. Then he tells us, in this nether life, this lower life that is drab-hued, dull, that is cheerless, lacking in spirit, gray, this drab-hued and dull, yet filled with poignant, small, ignoble things. And last night I heard poignant, and we do not pronounce the G in the word poignant, yet filled with poignant, small, ignoble things, the conscious doll is pushed 100 ways and feels the push, but not the hands that drive. The conscious doll, that's us. That's our self, our soul. But in the body, it is hidden by so many veils. And so we are pushed 100 ways. And we do feel that push, there's no doubt about it. But we don't feel the hands that drive. For none can see the masked, ironic troupe to whom our figure selves are marionettes. Our deeds, unwitting movements in their grasp, our passionate strife, and entertainments seen. Well, here Sri Aurobindo is really speaking about this ironic troupe, which is the, I would say the Rakshasas mostly and Pisachas. Not always the Asuras, not all of us, those of us are touched by the Asuric forces, but we certainly are touched by the Rakshasas and Pisachas. And to them, our figure selves are marionettes, just puppets. Our deeds, unwitting. Unwitting is not knowing, ignorant, oblivious. Our deeds, unwitting movements in their grasp. Our passionate strife, an entertainment scene for them. It's just an entertainment scene. I've been reading a lot and my voice is a little weak. Vladimir, can you chime in with some of intuition here?
All right. Well, first of all, it's very beautiful with the faculties of consciousness from the top that the whisper falls into the live's inner ear, and we have this response from our faculties of consciousness embodied in the body. Speech leaps then, thought quivers. I was thinking quivers and vibrates heart. What is the difference between quivering thought and vibrating heart? And the will answers, so to say. The will joins the party. It wants to be part of this movement, and even tissue and nerve obey the call. We are all kind of possessed by this whisper of the spirit, without even knowing that we are. We receive this intention from elsewhere, and then we think, oh, I want, I desire, I will do, I go, and something. But truly speaking, it's all preordained, or let us say, sanctioned from above. As elsewhere, Sri Aurobindo says that even the hair from your head cannot fall without the sanction of the Supreme. So everything is already there, inbuilt in this movement of nature, obeying the will of Purusha. So this is something which I was thinking about this passage. Speech leaps, thought quivers, the heart vibrates, the will answers, and tissue obey the call. We are all in the hands of this force. And more we are open to it, to the higher force, I think more we become responsive, responding instrument to the spirit. Become aware of its presence and of its action. So this is the way to go. I thought this passage is amazing.
Yes, what you say is very important. So let's continue a little bit, because Sri Aurobindo wants us to know that ignorant themselves of their own fount of strength, they play their part in the enormous whole. We see Mother telling us so many times that these beings are there to actually help us progress, to help us evolve out of this temporal human form into the supramental form. And so these beings do have a play and a purpose, but they're not aware of their own fount of strength. Yet they play their part in the enormous whole. But actually, what are they? They are agents of darkness imitating light. They are spirits obscure and moving things obscure. Unwillingly, they serve a mightier power. So it is actually that they are not that conscious, because he says unwillingly they serve a mightier power. But they are obscure, and they're moving things obscure, and unwillingly agents of darkness, imitating light. Now Sri Aurobindo is going to speak about Ananke. Ananke's engines organizing chants. Well, Sri Aurobindo uses this Greek term of mythology as the personification of compelling necessity or ultimate fate to which even the gods must yield. And we can speak of it as karma. And this is something also that the West has felt. But he says in Essays in Philosophy and Yoga, quite a long sentence, and I'll only quote a little bit of that. In the West, too, the idea has constantly recurred, but in external, in fragmentary glimpses, as the recognition of a pragmatic truth of experience, and mostly as an ordered ethical law or fatality set over against the self-will and strength of man. But it was clouded over by other ideas inconsistent with any reign of law, vague ideas of some superior caprice or of some divine jealousy. That was a notion of the Greeks, a blind fate or inscrutable necessity, Ananke, or later, the mysterious ways of an arbitrary, though no doubt, an all-wise providence. We'll carry on a little bit longer. We have a little time yet. Ananke's engines, organizing chants, channels perverse of a stupendous will, tools of the unknown who use us as their tools, invested with power in nature's nether state, into the actions mortals think their own, they bring the incoherencies of fate, or make a doom of time's slipshod caprice, and toss the lives of men from hand to hand in an inconsequent and devious game. Wow, this quite a session. So let us look a little bit more deeply into it. First of all, they are perverse channels of a stupendous will. And notice that Sri Aurobindo capitalized this will, which he says is the pressure of a conscious force on nature, in his letters on yoga. Now, tools of the unknown, us, who use us as their tools, but they are tools of the unknown also. They are not conscious of their actions totally, as Sri Aurobindo has told us above. So they are tools of the unknown who use us as their tools, but they are invested with power in nature's nether state, this lower aspect, this nature of darkness, this nature of self-becoming that is still dwelling beneath the surface of the earth, lower or under, nether. Into the actions mortals think their own, what do? They bring the incoherencies of fate. Incoherent is, of course, disjointed, rambling, without any logical or meaningful connection. And fate here, Sri Aurobindo has talked to us so many times about fate. In his Essays in Philosophy and Yoga, he says, this is the great truth now dawning on the world, that will is the thing which moves the world. and fate, and that fate is merely a process by which will fulfills itself. But in this passage, where we're talking about the Godheads of the little life, he then says, they make a doom of time's slipshod caprice. Slipshod is slovenly, untidy, careless even. And a caprice is a sudden, unpredictable change. And toss the lives of men from hand to hand in an inconsequent and devious game. Wow, inconsequent, trivial, without any worth. Devious, of course, crooked, shifty. So I will ask someone to read tonight. May I have a volunteer? Well, I think, Natalia, then it's up to you.
Okay, I volunteer. I start from a thinking puppet?
Okay.
From concealed, right? Is
Okay.
it? Okay. Concealed in the subliminal secrecies mid an obscure occult machinery, captured the mystic Morse whose measured lilt transmits the messages of the cosmic force. A whisper falls into life's inner ear and echoes from the dun subconscious caves. Speech leaps, thought quivers, the heart vibrates, the will answers, and tissue and nerve obey the call. Our lives translate these subtle intimacies. All is the commerce of a secret power. A thinking puppet is the mind of life. Its choice is the work of elemental strengths that know not their own birth and end and cause, and glimpse not the immense intent they serve. In this nether life of man, drab-hued and dull, yet filled with poignant, small, ignoble things, the conscious doll is pushed 100 ways and feels the push, but not the hands that drive. For none can see the masked, ironic troupe to whom our figure selves are marionettes, our deeds unwitting movements in their grasp, our passionate strife and entertainments seen.
Okay.
Ignorant.
I think you've gone a little past, but it's fine. Very good reading.
Thank you.
But we can go on a little bit more to the past Ananke. So our passionate strife and entertainment scene, and then?
Ignorant themselves of their own fount of strength, they play their part in the enormous whole. Agents of darkness imitating light, spirits obscure and moving things obscure. Unwillingly they serve a mightier power. Ananke's engines, organizing channels perverse of a stupendous will, tools of the unknown, who use us as their tools, invested with power in nature's nether state, into the actions mortals think their own. They bring the incoherencies of fate, or make a doom of time's slipshod caprice, and toss the lives of men from hand to hand in an inconsequent and devious game.
Very good reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Natalia, next week, please. Okay. All right. Namaste all.
Namaste. Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank you.
Sunday.
Thank you.